NBC Sports presents the American Le Mans Series Race of 1,000 Years. It's been 90 days since the Olympic Games ended and we left Australia, but now we're back down under 900 miles west of Sydney in Adelaide, a city of some 1 million people in the state of South Australia. This is the pole-sitting Audi that's been bulletproof all year long. Dindo Capello on board, into the outside barrier after suspension failure in this morning's practice. That has sent a shiver up and down every driver and team manager's spine this morning.
Folks, for nearly 2 months, Alan Mcnish has been the champion-elect in the prototype class of the American Le Mans Series. Only the most bizarre of circumstances could have denied him the title. 2 days ago, that's what we got. He injured his back climbing out of a kilt, his Scottish national dress. His fitness was in question, and once that question mark had just been eradicated, this morning, as we've just so dramatically seen, the car pitched into the wall. Now, the Audi team aren't sure why. They haven't recovered all of the missing components of the car. Some of them are in a storefront downtown. But what they are sure of is that the rebuilt Audi number 77 will be good to go for this race.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup for our event today. On pole, the Audi R8. Alan Mcnish and Dindo Capello. Capello doing the driving honors, his 4th pole of the season. It's Frank Villa and Emanuele Pirro in the second of the Audis on the outside of the front row. An all-Aussie team, David Brabham and Greg Murphy and Jason Bright in the Panos Roadster. Inside of row 2, their team car, Johnny O'Connell and Hiroki Kato. Outside of the 4th spot, then the 2001 model Panos with Magnussen and Graf starting in 5th position. The 2 Cadillacs will start in 6th and 7th. Emmanuel Collard to start in that car, the number 32 car. His teammate Christophe Tinso, the Frenchman, rounding out the top 10. Fastest qualifier of the GTS cars, Olivier Beretta, looking to lock up his 2nd straight GTS title. There's the GT pole sitter, Lucas Luhr, to start with his teammate Dirk Muller. Here comes Mcnish and Villa down to the green flag, and we're green at Adelaide.
We are indeed, and look at Mcnish. He drived over this to drop off the back of his teammate's car. So you were right that I think the teammate got a great jump. And watch Alan in that car that looks like a crocodile.
Certainly looked like an orchestrated move there.
It was indeed. Alan carefully just took a look in the mirror there to see where David Brabham was, and both these drivers are so good. At this point, it's not something you really worry about as a driver. You've got somebody with immense ability that's around you. You can drive as fast as you can comfortably because you know that they're not going to make a stupid mistake that may take you out of the race.
Safely through the first couple of corners.
Something so unusual for street circuits. You'll notice that the cars are relatively smooth here. This track is so good, so exceptional in every single area. I have never seen anything like it.
Coming up now toward the long Brabham straightaway, named for Sir Jack Brabham, and cleanly through lap number 1. So Villa leads in the 78 Audi. Second is Mcnish in the 77 car, the crocodile painted machine, if you will.
Crocodile done Audi.
Yeah. Looking ahead, this is David Brabham in 3rd in the Panos.
And watch how hard David has to fight the wheel. I mean, he really battles with this car and gives it his all, whereas the Audis all season long, we've watched how good they are over bumps. Here's a perfect example. Terrific amount of work. It just stabs the gearbox down. Keep in mind the sequential gearbox. You just pull it back. There he is, he's changing up. Pull it back. The spring loading takes it back to a neutral position for downshifting, push it forward.
Good looking race car. Unfortunately, it's not good running today. Moments ago, the 2001 car on pit road with Jan Magnussen aboard.
Well, it's one of the necessary evils of developing a new car that you have to expect a lot more problems, and it's good to get the car out at this point to try and run as hard as they can and to try and break it, find out where the weaknesses are and build that bulletproof race car just like what Audi have done.
Watching Lucas Luhr in one of the Dick Barber Racing Porsches. This is the GT class leader. Remember we described earlier the 3 different types of cars all competing together. Now look at the championship standings in this, the final race of the season for the American Le Mans Series. 1 point between 1st and 2nd. 7 points between 1st and 3rd. Now, the top 2 drivers, they co-drive the same car. The second 2 drivers, Muller and Luhr, they co-drive this car, the 5. Theoretically, there could be a tie, a 3-way tie, for the championship in this class at the end of the race.
Good battle, too.
Yeah, and look at the BMW creeping in right behind.
Yes.
That is Bill Auberlen in one of the prototype technology group BMW M3s, and we expect them to give these 2 Porsches a fit. Alan Mcnish has taken over the race lead and has clinched the American Le Mans Series Championship for 2000. We'll take those one at a time. First, when he took the lead away from his teammate Frank Villa just a little while ago.
Yeah, I think this is Alan's version of the crocodile bowl because he wanted to set up Villa and just Takes a really nice outside pass here, gets on the throttle early. Watch the foot box, look at this. Just a beautiful pass. He set that up so perfectly. Really good. Great momentum off the corner. And now he is back in his own game. He's running a really hard pace, but obviously very comfortable.
Then at lap 25, Mcnish crossed the start-finish line and under the American Le Mans Series point system, locked up the championship. He ran enough laps in the race today to be eligible for points. And with the lead he had, no matter where he finished, once he became eligible for points, the championship was his. So congratulations to Alan, a truly impressive season. Here's the other champion crowned so far today, Olivier Beretta. Second straight GTS class championship in the American Le Mans Series, as he drives the, what is in Australia, Chrysler Viper. We know it in America as the Dodge Viper. One of the BMWs is stopped. That is the...
Yeah, I couldn't tell what the number was. That was a head-on view, but we'll try and get that for you as quickly as possible.
I believe that is the Boris Said car that is off the side of the road.
Well, the strategy was for Alan to do one stint only, but as we could see, he got up to speed very quickly, feels very comfortable in the race car. Reinhold Yost came over to me just a few minutes before he came in and said, we expect Alan to stay in the car. The refueling has been completed. They clean out the front grille. Alan Mcnish continues on his way in an attempt to capture his 6th victory of the season.
Mcnish and Vila in the Audis in the top two, followed by Brabham O'Connell in the Panos machines, and then Mimo Scattarella in the Raffinelli Lola. Now, I mentioned it's been quite an eventful opening hour of this event. Let's go back and look at some of the things that have happened here in the last few moments, starting with the team car, the 78 Audi. Frank Vila was on board a moment ago, and the 51 car was being driven by Bob Wallach. That's the Porsche. Look at this.
Wallach just chops down going into a corner. They make contact, just barely touching the nose of the Audi. But what Wallach didn't realize, one of those wing plates on the front end of the Audi cut Wallach's tire. He had to come into the pits because of that. Then suddenly the 78 car came to a stop for a moment. Maybe an ignition failure, maybe even something as simple as knocking the key off.
You're looking at the pit stop here for Wallach, and the damage to the right rear was not significant damage. The rubber bouncing around did rip the shock reservoir loose. Now, this was Didier de Rodriguez trying to make a pass on Johnny O'Connell. He missed.
Yeah, Didier had worked really hard to try and get by O'Connell, went in very deep, and this one here now.
Brian Cunningham.
Just an amazing display. I think he watched too many Olympics and was watching springboard competitions, decided to try it, and you don't get high marks for that one.
He was the GT class leader, broke a half shaft with that bounce over the curb, limped it back around to the pits where it spent time in the garage getting repairs. Next up for problems was Johnny O'Connell in the Panos. We saw he got away clean when de Rodriguez tried to move underneath him. This is Stag Corner. Look at this.
And apparently the worst possible combination, very bad brakes and the throttle sticking wide open. Oh my Lord, how to get a heart attack.
Fortunately for him, the escape road was there, one of the safety design features of this course here in Adelaide. He got the car back around to the garage. They put it behind the wall where they spent some time getting repairs made. So eventful, the word for hour one of this race of 1,000 years. And we've got, as far as, this is Hiroki Kato in that Panos. Remember, we saw O'Connell with the stuck throttle and brake problem. They went to the garage, got it repaired. Then Kato came out, stopped on course.
That's not one of the fun incidents. You can see Kato was very anxious to get out of the car, and the crew seemed to be telling him to stay. I don't think he wanted to.
See Kato stopping just past the pit exit, and the car getting brought back around by him into, well, by the course workers,
yes.
rather. GT, Dirk Muller leads in that class. He is 8th overall. Bob Wallach trying to dig out of the hole from the spin to ensure either he or teammate Sasha Mawson have a shot at the GT class championship.
I mean, we've had a number of really good challenges today from BMWs, all of which have suffered problems. Now it's coming down to between the two Dick Barber Porsches, and this could be a terrific political fight. Dirk Muller is leading right now by 1 point. He has set the fastest race lap, but quite frankly, is not one of Porsche's favorite drivers at this point. He will be going to rival BMW next year.
Barber made very sure that they knew exactly what the score was. He told all the members of the team that if any of his cars made contact with the other cars in the team, they would be called into the pits, put up on the air jacks, and left there. Now, he didn't go directly to the drivers to tell them to behave themselves. He just made sure that the team knew and the word would get through.
Watching the GTS class leader, 91 machine, Dominique Dupuis, just ahead of the team car, Nii Amorim behind the wheel. Now, they are separated by a lap, so even though they're nose to tail, they're actually a lap apart on the racetrack.
Now they're right there.
Over the curbs,
Went in way too deep, got wild, and that's the kind of thing that hurts the cars. That's what the BMWs have gone through all the time.
Now let's check into the fourth place running car overall. Norman Simon behind the wheel of the Olive Garden Raffinelli Lola. He has had an adventurous time in this race in the last 30 minutes or so. We're 2 hours 45 minutes in now.
Now he rests here. Look at that left front corner, and suddenly you see the nut go spinning off into the distance, and he is passed by his own wheel. Not the most comforting thing for the driver.
The race being led by the Audi R8, number 77 car of Dindo Capello. There he is. He was up about 1:05 on his team car of Emanuele Pirro. Now he's up 2.5 minutes on his team car and growing.
This car absolutely slams the wall when he gets offline. Tries to go around the outside of the Conrad car, loses grip. At this point, he knows he's in big trouble. Jump on the brakes and watch the impact. Look at the wham! The car rebounds off the wall. You see the sparks. And incredibly, we see the car moving. He got out of the car, he stopped, he took a look at it, and he's actually driving that thing back into the pits.
And he's going to turn it off.
Now he's damaged something so severely that he's watching the gauges, they're monitoring something, and he has decided that he would do a lot more damage by continuing on. So
now the 5 car you're looking at, just overtaken by the overall race leader, is Lucas Lohr, Dick Barber Racing Porsche, that is now the leader in the GT class, putting his teammate Dirk Muller in position to win the championship, because a moment ago, just after a scheduled pit stop, Sasha Maassen in the 51 car, the point leader coming into the event, had a problem and came back down the pit lane.
And we're guessing that this all goes back to the contact that Bob Wallach had when he was in contact with one of the Panos cars.
I'm very unhappy because this championship should be a real professional championship, and it is not, because the organizers are just not capable of keeping people bumping into each other. And we've lost several races this year, especially Motorsport and here, because we have been bumped from behind. And this is not right. This is not racing. We should have won that championship, and we lost it because, again, the organizers are just not capable of getting people stopped to drive into each other. I mean, there's other way of driving than drive into each other.
Look at the front of the car. He is hard into the wall with the Olive Garden car.
That is Norman Simon.
No, he's not.
Runoff area.
Everything looking normal. Locking up a wheel.
That's turn 14. One of the last of the 16 on the course.
Ah, good work.
I don't know.
Really good.
I think he's good and lucky. We have a look now. This is Greg Murphy in the Panos number 12 car.
And he gets slightly offline and hard into the wall, right where the Raffinelli car. Now watch his hands on the wheel here. He knows he's going off. He tries to turn the other way. And at this point, he's wishing he'd pull back on the wheel and fly over that wall.
Here's the other remaining Panos. Hiroki Kato back in the garage. More of the same, brake problems. Back earlier in the race at the 3-hour mark, the 78 car with Emanuele Pirro that was running second at the time crashed out on the course. Pirro abandoned the car on the back straightaway, but just moments ago, now nearly 2 hours later, he's gotten, I shouldn't say 2 hours, it's about, an hour later, I'm sorry. He's gotten back into the car and driven it around to pit road. It is Alan Mcnish in this car that has led. Check this out. Now, I just said we're 4 hours, 25 minutes in. They took the lead at the 24-minute mark and are up by 8 laps on second place. It has been massively impressive.
It is, there's no way to overstate just how good this performance is right now. And Alan continues to go very quickly. Right ahead of this car, the Olive Garden car. This is Mimo Scattarella back in the car now. And he really has put in a good performance as well. Third place, the Conrad car. Now this really is a shock.
This is a privateer team that is up in position to grab a podium finish now. Australian driver behind the wheel for the moment. Late add to the team, Alan Heath. Heartbreak for the second place car. Didier Duronagus, driveline failure in turn number 6. While running second, he stopped on course. He's out of the race. Another of the P cars, prototype cars, that's had some problems earlier today, finds it again. This is the Panos of Jason Bright.
Not the way he wanted to finish his day.
Brought out the pace car for the what has been only full course caution of this event. That gave the leader the opportunity to make a leisurely pit stop under the yellow flag, and Mcnish made the decision, I'm staying in.
I've enjoyed watching Alan so much this year, and I've enjoyed chatting with him because he's just One of the most delightful personalities. He's very serious and very intense and driven to perfection. And yet he approaches racing with this just a great sense of enjoyment, and you can tell it's special to him.
Of 12 races in the season, a 6th win for Alan Mcnish, the Scotsman, and his teammate Dindo Capello. Checkered flag.
Ah, yes.
And the race of 1,000 years, the American Le Mans Series Championship. There's the second place car. Franz Conrad going to take the checkered flag for his team. Be a very proud moment for them to be on podium.
Outstanding achievement. We almost had two privateers. The Raffinelli team and Franz Conrad come in with real performance today. And Viper win the GTS class once again.
Brad Jones did not get behind the wheel of the car through the course of this race. He was the Aussie driver called in as the standby in case McNish's back prevented him from going. He'll get an attaboy for being willing to help, but it was Mcnish and Capello doing the driving as you look at the rundown of the race of 1,000 years.
Alan Mcnish winning the championship, winning the race. You're wincing a little, but actually you don't look half bad.
No, the car was very good all day. And to be honest with you, the last run was relatively simple because we already had an 8-lap lead. And it was a case of trying to bring the car home. But the hard work was done at the beginning. And overall, I'd have to say that we've had a fantastic season. And I couldn't have had a better teammate and a better team than Audi with Dindo Capello.
Olivier, it's been such an incredible 3 or 4 years for you and the team. The final race for the Viper, you take another win here tonight. I think it's 45 for Team Orica. Your 4th driver championship here and in Europe. What are your feelings as you retire this car?
I mean, I have a strange feeling because this car has been so great for me that I have a lot of satisfaction, and I was very lucky to have Carl and Dominique. We have a lot of success. We have won Daytona and many championships, many races. I think I have won 39 races in total.
It was a race all the way to the end. Dirk Muller, the Dick Barber Racing team, won the race, won the title with you and Lucas Luhr.
It's unbelievable. I don't know what to say at the moment. First of all, I really thank my teammate Lucas Luhr. He did a tremendous job, and I also thank Dick Barber for the great car. Michelin tires lasted very well, and I'm really, really happy. I don't know what to say.
All 3 race winners take their divisions championships for the American Le Mans Series of 2000. There's the Audi R8 that has dominated this division since it was rolled out mid-year. There's the Porsche of Dirk Muller, and you saw the Dodge Viper of Olivier Beretta earlier, the 3 series champions in 2000 in the American Le Mans Series.